All right, now I'm going to be reviewing the osteopathic salute technique of muscle energy that we can do for the thoracic spine, and we can also do this for the lumbar spine. And so the osteopathic salute, or this is the way I learned it at least, you always salute the side of the rotation. And so for the sake of ease in showing this right over here, I'm going to say that he's rotated to the right. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you put your hand behind your neck right over here, and then your other hand on top of your elbow, just like this right over here. So this is the osteopathic salute position that we want them in. What I'm going to be doing with my right hand over here is I'm going to be finding my specific segmental dysfunction, and I'm kind of monitoring over that transverse process. And then when it is a neutral dysfunction, I'm going to be coming underneath and then over, right over here. So I'm coming underneath his armpit and then over his other arm right over here, so my hand can come right over here. Now, if you notice, I also have him at the edge of the table. That just makes it more biomechanically efficient for me to be able to get him set up without straining myself in the process. Okay, so I have it under and then over, okay? And so then if we need to adjust for sagittal plane, I can adjust extension and flexion as much as I need to kind of lock it out. So I'm gonna put a little bit into extension, okay? And then I'm going to side bend, so just by kind of lifting my shoulder up a little bit more, I naturally kind of side bend them right over there. Depending on how higher up you are, sometimes you actually need to pull them towards you to kind of side bend it a little bit better. But right here, if I just do that, that's enough to be able to kind of feel it right to that level that I'm at. And then I'm going to rotate them enough that I feel it right to that level right here. Now what I'm going to have you do is just try to, without overpowering me, just try to straighten your body back up towards neutral again. So he's engaging these paraspinals right over here, and relax. When he relaxes, I'm going to again take up my slack a little bit with each motion. And then I'm also keeping my hand on that transverse process to help guide it. So short lever is my thumb right over here. Long lever is what I'm doing with the rest of his body here. Go ahead and straighten up again and relax. Okay. And even sometimes what we can do is notably, and I'll show it more on the lumbar spine, is sometimes, especially if they have a hard non-neutral that we need to kind of get down over here, you can even try a little bit of a thrusting technique if you have their legs straddled on the table, because that helps lock out the lumbosacral spine a little bit. So let me demonstrate it for a non-neutral for the lumbar spine. So let's say, and one of our big bad guys is always L5. So we're going to say, let's say he has L5, rotated right, side bent right is our dysfunction. Okay, so we're going to salute on the right side again. Okay, so he's doing it the right way. Nope, he's not. Okay, hand right up there. Yep. Okay, so and you want their hand just, so they're not straining on their neck, just relaxed over there. Okay, I'm going to be finding L5 right over here, monitoring with my finger right over that transverse process region. Rather than going under the arm and then over, I'm going to go over his other arm over here and then under. So I'm going to be coming like this right here. And so can you turn a little bit more over this way here? So I actually have my axilla kind of resting on the top of his shoulder. And what's nice about that is I can just kind of slump into it a little bit with my body weight, and it naturally starts side bending him for you. Because if it's rotated, if it's side bent right, I need to side bend him to the left. And so that naturally helps you kind of get it down to that level. At the same time, the standard way that I kind of learned to do this at first was you're kind of grabbing on top of them right here, but then you're kind of like clawing into them when they're contracting. That's really uncomfortable for them. So when you do it this way, instead I have my hand kind of grabbing on the back of the arm, kind of through the axle right over here, and that's a lot more comfortable for the patient too. Okay, so I can side bend till I get to that point. I can rotate until I get to that point. I can adjust flexion, extension, how I need to. I'm going to do a little bit more flexion, okay? And then I can say, go ahead, without overpowering me, go ahead and sit up. And relax. Okay, and then I can adjust my planes a little bit more and get it a little bit further. Go ahead and sit up again for me. Relax, okay? And then if I wanted to do a little bit of a thrust, okay, it's an extra little thing, and I'm guiding so it's a simultaneous extra little motion with my arm that I'm kind of controlling his body, extra little guidance forward on my hand off with my thumb over that transverse process region right over here. So that's the osteopathic salute that we can do for neutral, non-neutral, thoracic, or lumbar spine.